This is the Royals POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Kansas City Royals. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in to the Royals POSTCAST, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chance Liebau, and I'm here to bring you reaction to every single Royals game the rest of the season. And tonight we see the Royals win a game. Royals win 6-1 tonight, taking down the Texas Rangers. And as Parker's Outdoor Sports says, a lot better today, right? Absolutely a lot better today. Appreciate you for hopping in the chat. We see some regulars in here. Appreciate you guys all hopping in here. If you can't make a show live, don't worry. These episodes will be uploaded for you to listen to on demand wherever you get your podcasts. Before we get started, remember to subscribe to the channel, turn on our notifications so that you get an alert whenever we go live on the channel. And thanks so much for joining the show. Feel free to join the live chat. Let us know your thoughts on the game. This has been a long time coming for this Royals team as they finally win a game. They had the winless homestand with the Yankees and the Athletics. They start a road trip, a 6-game road trip with a win against a really good Rangers team, or at least a team that's been playing well here for a little bit here recently. This has been a long time coming for us Royals fans, seeing the Royals win a game and win one in pretty easy fashion as the Royals won 6-1 today. And we'll start out how we always do. Here's what you'll be talking about. Oh, sorry, wrong one.
This is what you'll be talking about.
A little rusty after the off day yesterday. What you'll be talking about is the two guys in the lineup that have been dead weight, finally carrying it a little bit. Bobby Whit Jr. has been really, really poor recently. He has been struggling in a big way at the plate, not really getting much lift under the ball, really not having the season that we're used to from Bobby Whit Jr., and in a homecoming of sorts. You know, Bobby's a Texas kid. His dad played for the Rangers. Last year in the Home Run Derby was a big deal for Bobby, getting him on the right track going into the second half. But for Bobby Whit Jr., this was his best game in a long time. He goes deep. We saw him go deep in the White Sox series. I understand that. But he also had a double, had some nice defensive plays. This was the first time in a while, I would say the first time in almost a month, that I have seen Bobby Whit Jr. not pressing at the plate. This was as vintage Bobby Whit Jr. as it gets when you think about last season. He didn't look like he was uncomfortable at the plate. He looked like he was letting the game come to him and playing loose and free. And I think that if you can get that from Bobby Whit Jr. every game the rest of the way, then the Royals are going to have a good chance of being in a playoff spot, or at least competing for one, because the American League is a big hodgepodge in the middle right now. The middle class is being fattened as we speak right now. So having Bobby Whit Jr. be able to play like he did last season, or even a tick under that. He's been 3 or 4 ticks under where he was at last season. I think we can all admit that. But seeing what he was able to do tonight, it felt like getting on and turning a new leaf, not only for Bobby Whit Jr., but also for this Royals team as a whole. You see them hit the ball hard for the first time in a while. Somebody other than Jack Caglione or Vinny Pasquantino or Michael Garcia gets into a couple of balls. Salvi had a couple homers, the one long one to left field. Salvi's been dead weight in this lineup for the past 2 or 3, well, longer than that. If you take out that stretch of games in the road trip from that first series in St. Louis to the first couple of games in Chicago, other than that, Salvi's been pretty bad this season. And when you get what you got out of him tonight at the plate, the Royals are going to be able to compete. And I know that Jack posted his episode today on the regularly scheduled Locked On Royals podcast about, well, are they going to buy? Are they going to sell? What's the plan? What are they going to do? If you get this out of your two veteran leaders, Bobby Whit Jr., Salvador Perez, if that's what you can rely on a night-to-night basis from the lineup in those two guys in particular, who knows what the ceiling is for this Royals team, because they continue to scratch and claw their way to at least be competitive in most games. You think this season, I mean, there haven't been a whole lot of, the Yankees series had obviously the first game, and then the second game was a bit out of hand. But other than very rarely have the Royals been out of a ball game. The pitching staff has been able to keep them in ball games when they've been healthy. Let's say, in the time that they've had Lucas Erceg rostered, they haven't really been out of a whole lot of games because they have a really good bullpen. They have a really good pitching staff, and we saw that tonight. We'll talk about Seth Lugo here in a little bit in our second segment. But they just need the offense to be a little bit better. Just a little. They didn't need to be the Bronx Bombers. They didn't need to be the Dodgers lineup or the Padres lineup. They didn't need to be exceptional. With this pitching staff, the way it is formed right now, and even when Cole Reagans gets healthy at some point this season, you just need this offense to be average to above average, and you're going to compete in a lot of games because the pitching staff is better than it was last season, in my opinion, when it's at its best, because the bullpen has been much better than last year's bullpen. You just have to get a little bit more out of the lineup. You need a little bit more out of Bobby Whit Jr. He's hitting 275 right now, or at least he was in around that range coming into tonight. Probably need him hitting around 290, 295. You don't need him to hit 330 like he did last season, but you need him to hit around 295 and start putting more balls in the air. You don't need Vinny to hit 290. He's hitting 275 right now. You can get that out of Vinny, you'll be just fine. You don't need Salvi to hit 280. If he hits 250 and puts a lot of home runs in the bleachers, then this Royals team's going to compete. You don't need Jack Caglione to win Rookie of the Year, but if he can be a tough AB 2 out of 4 at-bats during a game, and if he can put a little bit of fear into a pitcher on a night-in, night-out basis, then that's what the Royals' recipe is to winning. They have just had so many outs in this lineup that makes it really hard to see them competing for a playoff spot or for the American League Central. They can compete for a playoff spot with the team formed as it is. They just need guys to carry their weight. They need Bobby Witt Jr. to play like he did tonight and like he did early in the season. They need Salvi to play a little bit more consistently. They don't need to go out and get a big-time bat. They need a couple of guys to make sure that we don't have to see John Rave on a night-in, night-out basis. We don't have to see Drew Waters more than twice a week. We don't have to consider bringing up an MJ Melendez or a Cam Devaney. They just need a couple of guys to be average instead of being net negatives, because that's what the Royals' problem has been the entire season. Is there's way too many guys that are pulling the team back because they aren't hitting well, because they aren't putting the ball in play. They aren't getting productive outs. So with what we saw tonight from the Royals, I think it's a promising sign that, number one, this road trip is not going to be a pity fest where the team just doesn't look like they are into it at all. I'd actually argue that tonight was the most engaged I've seen from the Royals in a long time. And I said it on Twitter. Anybody who is, I'm pretty close to my playing days, whether it be high school or college. I'm only 23, so I'm not too far removed from my playing days. But I can remember, and I think a lot of people can too, the best times you had as players was when you were on the road with your teammates and getting to spend time with them in the hotels and getting to spend time with each other at team dinners. When you're just showing up to the ballpark and going home to, the wife and the kids, which is great. I'm all for being family man, but I feel like putting those guys in the same group together, putting them in the same room and forcing them to get along, forcing them to, have a little bit of camaraderie, because it's a team that's seen a lot of Pistons. They've seen a lot of guys up and a lot of guys down. They have pulled this roster from a lot of different places. So I think a road trip is good for the team. I think that having guys get comfortable with each other and get comfortable with their personalities, have a little bit of fun. Go back home, Bobby. Bobby Witt Jr. had a ton of family members in the stands tonight. That I think this road trip could end up being, and I'm not going to get ahead of myself because this is game one of a 6-game road trip against two teams with playoff hopes and that are competing for playoff spots. I think that this could be the start of a turnaround for the Royals, where when they get to the All-Star break, they're 2-3 games above 500 and punching their own weight, and they're competing for a playoff spot. The energy we saw tonight was a major factor in my confidence in the Royals going forward. And a big reason for that was Seth Lugo on the mound. And I'll talk about that next when we come back on the Locked On Royals postcast. I want to tell you about the sponsors of today's video. We'll start with Wonderful Pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1-ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they are packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Personally, I love the no shells variety. It is the perfect grab and go snack for busy days. I have been super busy this summer. We've got some stuff coming up with work that has had me on the run all over Wichita. And it's easy to grab a pack of the no shells, the wonderful Pistachios no shells variety. Whether I'm snacking at my desk on a road trip or just need a quick protein boost, they are always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite. Get snackin and get crackin with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. As I think you might have just heard some thunder in the background. Time to tell you about the next sponsor of today's video. It's Gametime. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to the ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Gametime makes it possible. Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Gametime has last-minute tickets and zone deals for big savings, like 10% off exclusive zone deals for the FIFA Club World Cup matchups. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. If you were reading the news at all or listening to the radio at all today, there was a heavy discussion surrounding Seth Lugo. A New York Mets beats reporter had floated the idea that, or not floated the idea, reported that John Sherman had, in the ownership group for the Royals, had been pushing JJ Piccolo to potentially sell off some of the assets for this year's team. And Sam Mellinger and some sources for the Royals, including JJ Piccolo himself, shut down that rumor immediately. And today, Seth Lugo showed you why he is so valuable for this Royals team. I had to think back. I asked myself, and I asked one of my coworkers who I usually text during games, I had to ask myself, did Lugo start a game in the Yankees series? Because it didn't feel like he did. Did he even start a game on the homestand was what I asked him. And the one game he started during the homestand was the 1-0 loss the Royals had in the final game of the series. So that loss was probably the most embarrassing one of the homestand. And we come away from that loss thinking, man, that offense is so terrible. But what Seth Lugo did there was put the Royals in a position to win. He put himself in a position to compete. Last year, Cole Reagans was known as the stopper for this Royals team. He was known as the guy that would, when the Royals are on a skid, Cole Reagans is taking the ball every fifth day, and he's going to be able to get you, 6 innings, 7 strikeouts. You're going to have an opportunity to win that game. And Seth Lugo, to a certain degree, was as well. But now that Cole Reagans has struggled a bit this season and headed to the injured list multiple times, it's been Seth Lugo's role, and he almost did it. He did his best to do it on Thursday last week against the Yankees to put the Royals in a position to win. And he did. He went shutout. He pitched a shutout, 5 2/3 shutout innings. And tonight he proved his value to this Royals team. He took the mound with a 3-0 lead, which as a pitcher is a really easy thing to do. But what he gave you tonight on the mound was 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, and 9 strikeouts, including 6 in the last 3 innings of work. Seth Lugo was at probably his best since the Astros start earlier this season. He was really nails for them in a big spot, because if the Royals lose game 1 of this road trip, or if they, have to get into a shootout with the Rangers, no pun intended, I don't think that this road trip goes very well. But what Seth Lugo did was put the Royals in a position to compete in this game. Obviously, the offense did its job, but Seth Lugo, the Royals a lot of offenses are going to win starts that Seth Lugo has. And whether that's another team down the road that Seth Lugo gets traded to, or what I hope happens for this Royals team, because Seth Lugo has really been, I think, one of the more underrated pitchers in the league this year. I think that he continues to prove his value to the Royals. And honestly, tonight, I think that while Bobby Whit Jr. and Salvador Perez deserve a lot of credit for what they did offensively, tonight was on the back and the shoulders of Seth Lugo. He was dominant on the mound. There was never a sweat on his forehead. That is what you expect from your mid-30s ace in June with your team riding a losing streak and people wondering who's going to get fired. I was very happy with the Royals tonight. The energy was there. Matt Quatrero, great job. Don't listen to the fans. The fans, we are stupid. Don't change the lineup. The lineup was great tonight. Don't change the lineup. Fans are fans for a reason. Matt Quatrero has his job for a reason. And I was very pleased with what I saw from the Royals offense, the pitching staff tonight. And I think that this road trip could go really well. But obviously, you're going to have to take care of business tomorrow. The Rangers still have not announced. I don't believe. Maybe they announced in their post-game presser. But I don't know who's going to start for the Rangers. But I know for the Royals, it's going to be Chris Bubich, and he'll have an opportunity to go out there and put the Royals. If you've got your best pitcher on the mound tomorrow. I know I said Seth Lugo's the ace, but Chris Bubich has been their best pitcher. With Chris Bubich going out tomorrow, you have a chance to win a series, and that's something the Royals haven't had an opportunity to do in a long time. It's been since the first series of this postcast, which feels like eons ago. But I am very much looking forward to seeing what the offense has in store tomorrow. Not sure who's going to start for the Rangers, but should be another excellent game. Looks like tomorrow we will have a 7:05 first pitch, so we'll have that for you. And we will have postcast coverage coming up once again tomorrow. If you are still in the chat, appreciate you for being here. If you are listening after the fact, head over to the YouTube page, like the video, subscribe to the channel. And once you do that, you can press the bell notification or the bell icon for notifications so you can join us, because these shows are a lot of fun when we get to do them live. Appreciate you guys for joining us. Come back tomorrow night. We'll have live reaction to the Royals and Rangers Game 2 tomorrow. I'm Chance Liebau. This has been the Royals Postcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.